Hey everybody, AJ with SnowTrax TV coming at you with the 2025 Ski Doo MXZ Adrenaline 600R 129. So, pretty cool sled. Luke and I really wanted to focus this year, not just on the super high-tech, super high-end, which we are focusing on some of that. We also wanted to bring you some walk-arounds, test rides, and shootouts that are pointed more towards, I don't want to say the budget sleds, because these snowmobiles are anything but budget. They're fully packed with lots of really cool features, but they're the more entry-level, more economical sleds. This being one of the three that we chose for this year to show you guys. And I'm really excited to talk about it because it has a bunch of new stuff on it that dramatically changes the way that the G5 chassis rides. This is entry-level. This is the base 600 that you can get in the G5 platform right now. It's the Adrenaline. Yes, it does come with the fully featured 600R E-TEC. It is not downgraded in any way. It's not detuned, it's not less horsepower. It's still the P-drive clutch, so it's smooth and, you know, buttery and linear, and it's E-TEC all the way through, so you know that you're getting a high quality, really fuel-wise, really oil-wise consumption snowmobile. Works really good, throttle response is great. E-TEC is an awesome engine. Now, if you want to know how this E-TEC stacks up against the 650 Polaris and the 600 Catalyst, you're going to have to check out our shootout because there's some interesting findings there. Make sure you check that out on the YouTube page. One of the things that's very different about this season on the G5 chassis is that Ski Doo went to what's called the RAS RX front end. Now there is also the RX front ski, but when you buy the Adrenaline or the Adrenaline Blizzard in season, yes, you are going to get RAS RX front geometry. You are not going to get the RX front ski. So you get the Pilot X ski attached up to this new front end. What does that mean for you? Well, it's a little bit less aggressive ski. And what I found is that when you're out on the trail, that less aggressiveness makes this sled work really good at moderate trail speeds. As soon as you start to push it really hard, I do find it to get a little bit more unstable. And that's where the RX front ski really steps in and does a great job at becoming more stable up front. Is that to say that this is bad? No, it's not bad. It's just, obviously, the higher level you go and the more money you spend, the better performance you're going to get. Now when I'm talking a budget sled or something a little bit cheaper, more entry level, I don't want you to think that you're getting a whole lot less sled, because the truth is, and what I was shocked when I started to do this walk around and the test ride of this sled, is that you actually get way more than I expected. So out back, you still get the R-Motion X rear skid, which is the best riding suspension in the business. On the Adrenaline, you're going to get the KYB 36 shocks, which are a steel body, non-rebuildable, snail cam preload adjuster shock. Are they terrible? No, not at all actually. And in the R-Motion X, they actually work great. I was shocked. They're really good. Up front, they're definitely noticing their drawbacks when you get going a little bit faster down the trail and you're pushing this sled, you know, I would say medium to hard down the trail and you're riding aggressive. But the truth is, this is an entry-level snowmobile. So if you want to push harder and you get to the point where you really notice that the front suspension is lacking in, you know, some ways, well, that's where you go up to an X package or an XRS. But for everything that I wanted this to do, it worked so incredibly well that I was shocked that old steel body shocks could do this. I mean, it's the only sled in this class that has steel shocks. All the other ones have aluminum rebuildables, and maybe there's some benefit to that. But I was very impressed with the snowmobile. It's got a great little gauge on it. Yeah, it's not a 10.25. Doesn't give you tons of information, but it gives you the information that you need. Has hot grips and thumb warmers on there. It's got your fuel gauge on there. It's got all of the things that you need, plus all the warning lights in case anything should go wrong. Now, back behind the handlebars, really great left-hand switch cluster. Really nice to read, easy to use, and when you're out on the trail, it's not hard to figure out what you're doing. The handlebar riser is the same as most other Ski Doo sleds. The handlebar is very nice and very similar to the other Ski Doo sleds. You get the same little storage under the hood. You get really nice you know, windshield and deflector on it. You get a great headlight up front with the LEDs. I was looking for areas that they cheaped out on this sled, and really, I couldn't find any besides the suspension and the shocks. But at what you're paying for this sled, it better have something cheaper on it, because otherwise I wouldn't know why you would go up to an X package or an XRS or even a Blizzard Adrenaline. Now, something that I want to point out is when you buy a Ski Doo snowmobile, you buy refinement across the board. And there was something today, and this is going to sound goofy and silly to you, but I look for the small stuff on snowmobiles, because you really do see where the refinement's coming into play on some of these things in the little areas. Fit and finish on a Ski-Doo is second to none. They are the best in the industry and nobody's gonna argue that. But when it comes down to stuff like these little wings here that deflect the air, I noticed nicely, they put a little rubber biscuit underneath. But so that keeps the plastic from rubbing on plastic and starting to look, you know, scratched up or anything. On top of that, they put a little rubber sticker on the other piece of plastic, so it's not even rubber on plastic, it's rubber on rubber. And I just thought, like, who else in the industry thinks about little things like that to keep stuff so tidy and clean? Only Ski-Doo. Out back, you're gonna notice that this is a 129, but you even get your 2 link mounts. So right from the factory, I can slap a link accessory on this thing. I don't have to buy the mounts. It's right on there. It's ready to go. Like, what is the downside to this Adrenaline snowmobile? Yeah, it's got the 2-piston caliper brake, and I'm not a huge fan of that. I mean, we've talked to Ski-Doo and they say, well, the 4-piston caliper brake is more expensive, it's more premium. They're both made by Brembo, but the 4-piston caliper is better. In my opinion, one area that I wouldn't mess with is braking performance. I always want to get the best braking performance no matter what it is. And the truth is, the other competitors in this class have far better braking systems than this one does. Is it to say that it doesn't work? Not at all. It's just that it's a little vague and it feels a little on-off as opposed to being modulated like the competition. But there's got to be something that they need to do better in the future, because otherwise, I'm just really blown away with how good this snowmobile is. The seat's great, it's comfortable, it's got the same 600R motor, it's got the R-Motion X out back, it's got the RAS RX up front, it has the LED headlights, it's got all of these great features and accessories. I was just shocked at how much you can get for how little. So when you come onto SnowTrax YouTube and you're looking at the videos, yes, we do test a lot of the premium high-end stuff, but that's because year to year, that's typically the stuff that's new, that's latest, that's greatest. But we did want to take the time this year to do a couple of, actually there's 3 different test rides on entry-level snowmobiles from 3 different manufacturers so that you can see exactly our opinion on stuff that isn't the top level, top shelf. And at the end of the day, I am very impressed with this sled. I'm impressed with the retail price. If you want to get into snowmobiling brand new with a warranty, you can do it in a really, really high-end way for a lot less money than you might expect. And that would come in the way of the MXZ Adrenaline 600R. I'll start it up for you so you can hear how it sounds. If you like our stuff and you like this review, make sure you click that bell, get reminded of anything coming up, and like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. We read them, we try to respond. There isn't anything as smooth as the E-TEC.